Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Ivrea in northern Italy for the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup 1, and it is finals time. We have in action very shortly the C1 men, the C1 women and the K1 men. So finals time, we've whittled down the field. 200 athletes started from 36 nations. And now we're into the sharp end of racing. The top 10 in the C1 men, the C1 women, and the K1 men will race it out here in the great historic city of Ivrea. 23,000 population in the foothills of the Alps, and really in the heart of the city. So really strong Italian on the ICF calendar. The first time we brought a World Cup or major race for the ICF in canoe slalom since 2004. So temperature, well, not great. It's in the mid-teens, and a little bit more of a breeze now, but that won't affect the concentration of the athletes. Really popular course here. We've got 24 gates on the course, and this course from top to bottom drops 6 meters in height. Really powerful white water, and certainly eagerly anticipating final. So still to come today as well. Later on this afternoon we'll have the slalom cross event. That will kick off at 17:45, 5:45 Central European time, and again we'll be live here at Planet Canoe, so join us then. But let's focus on the C1 men final. That will get underway very shortly. Myself, Andy Maddock, will guide you through, and I'm also joined by the C1 ICF Under-23 World Champion Adam Burgess of Great Britain, who unfortunately, Adam, you went out in the semi-final, but a great opportunity to get your insight into paddling on this specific course.
Yeah, definitely. It's such an amazing course, and I think we're going to be in for a really exciting final today.
Well, the athletes will go off in reverse order of that semi-final performance, and Adam, just give us a little bit of an insight. Who are the ones to watch, do you think, in this the first of the ICF World Cup finals this year?
Well, I think we've got 10 very good C1 paddlers in there, and I think it's going to be a tight race. The run from Michael Yane was amazing, and I don't think they're going to have to go that fast to win today.
Well, we're underway with racing, and they all start on zero. Reverse order of the semi-final performances, and it is delivery time here in ICF World Cup 1 in Ivrea in northern Italy. Well, first up, Thomas Kirklin of Switzerland on course. Now, Thomas Kirklin, no stranger to a World Cup final. He made 2 finals in the 2015 World Cup Series, and already started his campaign well. And we know from the first runs, well, from the semi-finals today on the same course, 90.28 was the fastest time. That was an exceptional time set by Michael Yane.
Yeah, absolutely exceptional. I feel like a 92, 93 will probably be fast enough to win this. 95 in second and third. So it's let's see what Thomas Kirklin doing. It'll be a good marker for how the final's going to pan out, I think. Yeah,
so Thomas Kirklin has the opportunity to just tighten the screw a little bit on those still to come. If he can set in a good pace and put the pressure on the others. Well, he's clean so far, and he's taken on that move 19 to 20 forwards, but looks like he's had to spin on 20. How planned do you think that will be?
Yeah, I think it looked like the forwards was planned, and then just a little bit late, unfortunately for him, and he's had to take a spin in the end anyway. But it looks fairly solid.
He's coming through the last gate now, and this is all about the sprint to the finish. And we saw a huge amount of time changing hands in the semi-final. 95.59, a clear run. That's a solid start.
Yeah, that would have definitely been top 5 after the semi-final. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a 90 could be on the cards again in this final.
Well, there we are. That's him taking on 19 forwards, but you could see how he slips away, and he had to work really hard to get back for gate 20. Well, we've got a strong Italian crowd come out of the city of Ivrea and from all over the country to support the athletes, and there is Italian interest in these finals, not only in the K1 men's event where we have the Olympic champion Daniele Momenti in action later on, but also in the C1 men's event we have Roberto Colagizzari of Italy going up. But next up on course, our second finalist in the C1 men's final. it is Foulon of France, and very much capable of delivering. Following in the footsteps of Tony Estanguet, the multiple Olympic champion, world champion. He retired after the London 2012 Olympic Games, and Denis Gargaud-Canoe will be representing France in the Rio Olympic Games, but a strong performer. Are we going to see a new leader? What do you think, Adam?
He looks solid enough at the start. Interesting, I think, that we have 3 French C1 paddlers in this final. So you've talked about Tony Estanguet there. Even with his retirement, they're still a dominant force in C1 canoeing.
Well, we talked earlier on, a lot of the athletes involved in the Olympic Games in August have just been away at a training camp in Rio on the Olympic course, and therefore not here at the first World Cup of the season. But nonetheless, still a very quality field here, and just an early indication of Kilian Foulon's time against our current race leader, Thomas Kirklin of Switzerland. A little bit down, and went quite deep, quite risky into gate 12.
Yeah, he did, and then he's lost some more time there, I think, between the upstream 16 and 18. Difficult for a lefty there, but then he has the whole bottom section now on his onside. Maybe he can take a little bit back and catch up what he's lost there.
Well, Kilian Foulon of France, just one upstream to go now on this 24-gate course. Our course designers, Roberto De Angelo and Natalie Siegrist. Natalie of Switzerland, Roberto of Italy, have set us a good challenge, and the water itself provides a good challenge. But into second place, a 99.61, another clean run. But I suspect Kilian Foulon, it's not going to be enough to challenge the podium this afternoon.
Yeah, he looked like he did a fairly good job, you know, like he was middle of the gates, but maybe just a little careful and just a bit loopy on some of his upstreams, I think.
Well, here we see great slow-mo, just how close they get to the poles. Remember, if you're new to the sport of canoe slalom, it's all about negotiating the course fast and clean. You touch any pole with any part of your body, your boat or your blade, and it's a 2-second penalty. And you miss a gate, well, it's all over. 50 seconds of penalties added to your time. So, next up, from the Czech Republic, it is Thomas Rack. So Thomas Rack has a good reputation in this competition. He made 2 World Cup finals in 2015 from that 5-race series, and very adventurous, very aggressive start on gate 3.
Yeah, he really cut the line there. I think he paid for a little bit on the exit, but he was really fast around that first upstream.
Now tell us about upstream gate 3 in the semi-finals this morning. There was a lot of time changing hands and certainly a lot of penalties. How easy or hard is that gate?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. You know, you come off the start and you're straight into it down that chute, and you've got a lot of speed, and then you know, you've got to go back on yourself around the upstream, and very quickly it's on you, and you have to decide whether you're going to go bows around the pole or bows under. And I think a lot of people who were risking with the bows under option this morning were maybe that's maybe how they take. Oh no!
It's drama here.
Oh.
Thomas Rack, he goes for the adventurous move. You'd expect so on his onside, but catches an edge on 13, and surely he's not going to take the lead here in the final of the ICF World Cup 1 here in Ivrea. 9.5 seconds he dropped on that section. That includes a 2-second penalty for that touch on gate 13. Looks like he's recomposed himself though, Adam, as he comes into the bottom section.
Yeah, I think in this situation you've just got to be professional now and finish the job, and just make sure you do yourself justice, and just make sure you finish it off in a respectful way.
Well, which I suppose in some ways is what happened to you this morning. In the semi-final, you were awesome on the top 17 gates. I think you went into gate 18 with an advantage on the clock, and then caught your edge on 18, and but then, like you say, finished it off with pride. So Thomas Rack not able to get on the podium today, into 3rd place, but that will be challenged. So our first boat down, Thomas Kirklin of Switzerland, still leading the way. His time, 95.59, that's the time to chase. And you just see, that's a pretty good recovery there for Thomas Rack to actually get back and get back on track on 14.
Yeah, really, he did really well to not have to loop back around the eddy to get 14 there.
So we're 3 boats down in this 10-boat final. 7 to go, and of course it's the fastest 7 from the semi-finals earlier on today. So next up on course, it is Ivrea ITA of Slovenia. So a little bit of an unknown at this sort of level at the World Cup senior level, but certainly he could put in a good time. He's certainly capable of quick times.
Definitely, and it looks like he started really well. You know, he's a very technical paddler. There's a lot of good C1s from Slovenia, so I think he's struggled to make the national team in the last few years, which is why maybe we've not seen him around, but he's still a very good C1. And yeah, he's up on the split here, just.
Well, he's putting a good line in, and he's certainly cutting those lines fine as he goes through gate 10. Now into the crucial section. Precision is the name of the game on the upstream 12, and he's done that very nicely indeed. Can he keep it going? Very direct on 13, and he's being worked by the stopper. No penalties, but that will cost him on the clock.
Yeah, I think he's lost quite a lot of time there. He quite similar to Thomas Rack, but maybe a little bit less aggressive with trying to rescue it, hence not falling in. But yeah, that's quite a big time loss there.
Wow, 4.5 seconds he's lost just on that move alone. He went into the tricky section, gate 12, pretty much level with our current race leader, Thomas Kirklin of Switzerland, but came out of that section trailing by 4.5 seconds. So it is all about delivery all the way down. And at the moment, Ivrea ITA of Slovenia playing a little bit of catch-up, and still has the opportunity to get himself up the order. And there's a lot in this move, 23 to 24. We saw a lot of different lines and a lot of time trading hands.
Yeah, it's exciting to have a bit of a sting in the tail like that there.
Well, into third place for Ivrea ITA of Slovenia, but it is still Thomas Kirklin of Switzerland leading the way ahead of K1M of France. And of course, yes, Lenarčić of Slovenia goes into that third place. 6 boats still to go in this, the first ICF World Cup of the 2016 season, and the first C1 men's final. Still to come, the C1 women and the K1 men final here live on Planet Canoe. So from one Slovenian boat to another Slovenian boat. Next up, Ondřej Berčič, and Ondřej Berčič very capable of taking the lead here on this run.
Definitely, he's won World Cups before, so he knows what to do, he knows what's required, and yeah, he's in the final, so he has another opportunity to do that today.
So far 90.28 was the fastest run time in the C1 men in the semi-finals. Well, we haven't got close to that, but not many people did get close to that in those semi-finals. So here we come against Thomas Kirklin's time. A little bit of a deficit, but we know for sure that it is all about delivery over all 24 gates. But he's made that job harder. A 2-second penalty on the upstream gate 9. Just trying to go in too tight there, Adam.
Yeah, he's going to have to be fast now on this bottom section if he's going to challenge that lead.
So this critical section through 13 and 14, nicely done. Not necessarily the fastest, but he certainly looked very composed as he drops into the upstream gate 16. 3.92 seconds. So he's sort of stabilised the deficit, but a little bit low on gate 18. And Thomas Kirklin's lead time looking fairly comfortable as we get towards the halfway stage of this C1 men's final. So yes, this line on the bottom section, the last 2 gates, has caused a lot of problems. If you get it right, it seems to launch you towards the finish. If you get it wrong, just when your arms are fatigued, you've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it's interesting because the water is moving in that direction. I said to my coach yesterday when we saw the course that you could maybe roll, and as long as you're in the right place and you got up in time, you could still get the gates. But if you're not in the right place, then yeah, it does punish you there at the end of your run.
So Ondřej Berčič of Slovenia into third place. So it is still Thomas Kirklin of Switzerland leading the way at the halfway point in this 10-boat ICF World Cup final. K1M of France in second place. But of course, the final 5 boats to go in this final are the fastest boats from the semi-final, including the 5-time Olympic medalist Michal Martikan of Slovakia. But next up to start It is Pierre-Antoine Tillard of France, and himself, he won a great performance at the Po World Cup final in 2015 on home water, but certainly it was a very strong field. So the last World Cup was won by this man. Can he repeat it here in Ivrea?
Yeah, it was a pretty spectacular run last year in Po that he won with. There was a move where he went forwards where a lot of boats were spinning, and I wonder if we might see that again today if he'll choose that forwards option on the difficult 18, 19, 20 section.
Well, he's certainly taking it on. Look at that, 1.13 to the good. So a virtual race leader, but now this is where it will count. Finished 8th at the European Championships just around a month ago. Liptovsky Mikolas in Slovakia, very nice through gate 12, but yes, a little bit tight on the exit, 13 to 14. Penalty now confirmed, but he could still be in the mix. In fact, he's absorbed that penalty. He's 5/100ths to the good, and this is the section where will he take the risk? Well, not long to wait. Into upstream 18, will he take it on forwards on 19?
Oi, he's gone for it.
He's gone for it, but it didn't look like he got the setup right.
Not quite as well as Koechlin managed earlier.
So now into the final upstream, 4 seconds in penalties. That's going to be hard to challenge the time of Thomas Koechlin, but it is going to be a quick time. Is it damage limitation now? That's a good line through 20. And he's missed 24. He had a good line, but just got the wrong side of the pole, and it's all over. So Thomas Koechlin of Switzerland maintains the lead, ahead in second place of Kylian Foulon of France and Ondřej Berčič of Slovenia. That's the current top 3 in this, the ICF World Cup final, race 1 here in Ivrea, and we still have 4 boats to go in this final. Here we are, we see just the precision required, and through 13, that's the risk.
I wonder if he got a little bit ahead of himself there after a really, really fast upstream 12.
I think we saw that a lot in the semi-finals. People almost, if you carried too much speed out of 12, you were tempted to take it on a little bit more direct than was realistic. Well, the home crowd are getting animated because on course from Italy we have Roberto Colazzingari, and Italians have got a lot to cheer about. 3 boats in these 3 finals this afternoon, and of course Roberto is an established paddler emerging from the junior and under 23 ranks, making his mark at senior level.
Yeah, loads of medals as a junior and as under 23. I believe he's yet to win his first senior medal, so here he is, home water in the final. Maybe this is his big opportunity today, and he's just a fraction down on the top split, but that's okay. He can definitely make up 500ths on the rest of the course. That's
right, you can't really win the race on the top section, you can only lose it.
Yeah.
This is where it's going to count, and that is a good line, especially on his crossbow through 13.
He settled it very well through there, really good safe line through 13-14.
I think our race lead is under threat now as he comes into the upstream gate 16. He's in touch. It's all going to be down to these final gates. Leaving it very late, but a bit of local knowledge there as he lines up to get in and out of the upstream gate 18. We'd expect him to spin on 19. Now on the gas. This is where it counts. Well, certainly the Italian crowd here going wild, giving their support.
Oh, he's just hit that outside pole with the bow, it looks like there. That 2-second penalty could be costly.
Well, that's confirmed, and it was interesting to see a lot of the athletes in the semi-finals going very tight into the upstream 22. He's going to be outside of that time. It started so well for Roberto Colazzingari of Italy, but it's not going to be on the podium today. Into 4th place, and with 2 boats to go, 3 boats to go in this final, it is still Thomas Koechlin of Switzerland leading the way ahead of Kylian Foulon of France and Ondřej Berčič of Slovenia. So tight racing, and the time to remember for that race lead is 95.59. But of course, we know that 90.28 was possible. That was done by Michal Jane of the Czech Republic. He'll go off last. But next up, from France is Martin Thomas, another of the French competitors, 7th at the World Championships in 2015, and his best result in the World Cup Series in 2015 was 4th. Can he go better than that? Can he get on the podium here today? Well, we'll find out in the next few minutes.
Yeah, he's definitely got the skills to be able to do it. Another of these French C1s here, you know, coming from that Estongue era, and he was good in the semi-finals, so let's see if he can repeat that.
And of course, the World Cup goes to Pau in 2 weeks' time. We'll be in Pau in the south of France, in the foothills of the Pyrenees, and they'll be hosting the World Championships in 2017, so Pau will definitely be a venue on the calendar for the next few months. Looking good as he comes through gate 13 and 14.
Oh, I think that was a bit tight there, but until that point he's been flying. You know, he pinned the upstream just above the bridge and just below it, and it looks like the judges have decided he didn't quite get his whole head inside the gate on 14, and they've given him a 50-second penalty, but I'm sure he'll finish the run-off and review it on video and see if it was or not, and maybe there's a chance he can get it off. But
well, he had a virtual race lead at that point, 0.27 up on the split time of Thomas Kirklin of Switzerland, and yeah, he certainly cut the line very tight through 14. A language I used to use when I was coaching was he left it to the judges to make the decision.
Yeah, I think so.
And now finishing his run, he may not know he's been given that 50-second penalty, and look at that, his time into 8th place, a very respectable time, 96.88, and just that 50-second penalty.
Looks like it just kind of came apart for him a little bit after that mistake there. You know, he's a bit tight, and then from there to the finish, he just didn't quite finish the run the same way he started. You know, he was pinning the ups and he was flying on the top, and it's easy in canoe slalom after one mistake for it all to kind of just unravel for you as you get further down and more tired.
So what that does mean, and we see it there, is that Thomas Kirklin has got a medal. What we don't know is what colour it will be. There are 2 boats still to go, and one of those boats is a legend of the sport of canoe slalom. He has been winning medals at World Championship level since he was 16 years of age. 1995 he won his first medal. Then the following year he won Olympic gold in Atlanta. Michal Martikan of Slovakia is on course. Of course, a left-handed paddler. Then in and out of the upstream gate 3. Adam, you're a left-handed paddler, and you've probably admired this person from afar. What is it that really stands out about Michal Martikan?
You know, it's his balance and his ability to just really use the water so well to his advantage. You know, he doesn't move around a lot. He stays very still, and he doesn't maybe have the reach that a lot of the top C1 paddlers have, but he still manages to just harness that energy of the water and go really fast. I wonder if we're going to see him take on the forwards option on this bottom move at gate 19.
Well, he's certainly renowned for taking the risks, and he makes that move very easy, considering that's on his crossbow through gate 13 to 14, and he's still in touch. 1.1, he is down on our current race leader, Thomas Kirklin of Switzerland, but this is where he could make his move. It's all about keeping it to... Oh, he's not taken on that forwards, he's gone for the spin, and has he kept that momentum? Has he started to build into the run at the right time?
Yeah, that's normally the kind of move I'd expect him to really get excited about, to be the only left-handed paddler to have gone forwards. I'm quite surprised he's chosen the spin there.
Well, he sneaks into 24. He's certainly playing a little bit of catch-up there. He's going to be outside of the time of Kirklin, is he not?
Ooh.
No, he sneaks inside by 5/100ths of a second. And that gate 24, I think it's still in his head there as he crosses the finish line. But Michal Martikan of Slovakia takes the race lead here with one boat still to go in this, the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup 1. It's the race final. And gate 24, well, Michal Martikan is still just reflecting on that. But Thomas Kirklin currently lying in 2nd place, and Kylian Foulon of France lying in 3rd place. We'll watch the space here, but this was the outstanding story from the semi-finals. This athlete, Michal Jane of the Czech Republic, set a blistering time of 90.28. He had a 2-second penalty on top of that, but well, 95.54 is the time he's got to beat. So if he can repeat his performance, he's got time in hand, Adam.
Yeah, he's got 5 seconds to play with, judging by what he was capable of earlier. So let's see if we can. I think it'd be really special if he can do a similar run again.
So there's the top 4 at the moment as it stands. Michal Martican of Slovakia. The only person that can knock him off the top spot is this person, Michal Jane, and he has found nearly a second on the top section of this course. So now this is where the critical time changes hands. Very safe move into the upstream gate 12, but he looks like he's got good pace through 13 and 14.
Yeah, his boat didn't stop moving once there, even though he took a slightly longer line. His speed is really.
He's won medals at World Cup level before, but that's normally been on home courses or similar courses to Prague. But Michal Jane is our virtual race leader. It's his race to lose now. So through gate 20, gate 21, 3 more gates to go. Will it be Michal Martican of Slovakia, or will it be this man, Michal Jane of the Czech Republic, who take the honours? Well, it's all about the line through 23, 24. He's got that nicely. He's sprinting to the finish, and surely we're looking at the new race leader. And into the lead for Michal Jane of the Czech Republic. The semi-final winner also does it again in the final. And interesting there, Michal Martican has been awarded a 50-second penalty on the final gate 24. Well, we knew he was reflecting on that, you could see it. And Michal Jane provisionally takes the victory here, the first of the ICF World Cup slaloms in 2016. Thomas Kirklin of Switzerland takes the silver medal, and Kylian Foulon takes bronze for France. Adam, your reflections on that final?
Yeah, really exciting final. Jane to go 3 seconds shows just how much time he had in hand this morning. But yeah, I think we saw a lot of mistakes there. Maybe not the highest quality there. Like, you know, you've got a 6-second spread there on the medals. Martican picking up that 50-second penalty, as you say, left the judges with a decision to make there. And yeah, he's unfortunate.
Indeed, they'll be up next, so don't go away. But first blood in the ICF World Cup Series, 5-race series, and Michal Jane takes 60 points, the maximum score from race 1. Thomas Kirklin takes the silver medal and 55 points for Switzerland, and then Kylian Foulon takes 50 points for France in race 1. Italian fans seeing 5th place for Roberto Colla Zingari, and still to come will be the C1 women's final and the K1 men's final. They'll be up next, and of course tomorrow we have the K1 women's and the C2 semi-finals and finals here at Planet Canoe. So make sure you join us throughout the course of the weekend, but don't go away. We'll be back up next with the C1 women. Myself, Andy Maddock, joined by the under-23 ICF world champion in the C1 men's category, Adam Burgess. He was in action this morning in the semi-finals, unfortunately not making it through to that final, but great to have your insight in the commentary box now. And let's just talk about this course. Our course designers, Natalie Segrist, Roberto D'Angelo, 24 gates. What was the biggest challenge, do you think, for these athletes as they go into the final?
Yeah, I think as we've just seen in that final there, you know, a lot of people's undoings come at the bottom. You know, I think the moves down there are technically the hardest, but also it's when you're under the most fatigue, and maybe it's when your concentration is starting to slip. That move with the spin or the forwards option, the 24, a little sting in the tail there, you know. You come out that last upstream and you've really got to make sure you haven't got your eyes on the finish line yet, because you've still got one more like fairly big move to do. and it is not too difficult if you do the right job, but if you're racing, you're trying to cut and squeeze a little bit more time out of it, then it's easy to make mistakes, as we saw then.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? You know, make a mistake early on in the run, and that's where the experience comes in, deciding whether to just stick with the plan, because you pretty much, your plan is already going to be cutting the lines fine, or do you just throw caution to the wind and up the ante on risk just by another factor further. Well, everyone's waiting here for the start of the C1 Women Finals. Again, we have 10 boats in the C1 Women Finals. The athletes will race off in reverse order of the semi-final performance, and let's just look at the start. Well, these are the results. These are the points from the first race. Now, we've got a 5-race series in this International Canoe Federation World Cup Series. These are the points, maximum points for 60 points for a race win in the first 4 World Cups, but then the World Cup final has double points, 120 points up for grabs for a race win, and all eyes will be on that World Cup final. That takes place in Tartan in Slovenia, just outside Ljubljana. That takes place in early September. So the C1 men, Michal Jane takes those 60 points. The Czech Republic get first blood in this ICF World Cup Series, but let's turn our attention to the C1 Women's Final. And 2 from France, and then we have single representation from Spain, Slovakia, the Czech Republic and Australia. So the semi-final, Kimberly Woods dominated this course, and she led that semi-final by over 9 seconds.
Yeah.
What was the secret to her performance?
She had a really good run, you know, and I think she just did a really good job. You know, she didn't take any risks, didn't try and do anything too crazy. She knew what she had to do. You know, she's a really accomplished C1 paddler already, and you know, she's probably got a bit in the tank to be able to make the final still. But yeah, to go down and win by that much is amazing.
Well, and still to come, the multiple world champion Jessica Fox of Australia. So it'll be interesting to see who takes the honours, of course, because Jessica Fox, World Cup champion in 2015, and very much the one to beat on the world stage.
Definitely, and I think Jess will have a bit of time in her run that she'll want to correct after so she made an error around 13 in the semi-finals. So,
but we're underway with racing, and of course the athletes racing in reverse order of that semi-final performance. So 10th place finisher in the semi-final, Margot Henry of France, is our first competitor off. And if it just helps to get a bit of context in this, the first runner, then the fastest time from the semi-final in this category was 1:12.86. But I have to say, the next fastest time was in the early 1:20s.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about the technical difficulty of this course. You know, we saw a 6-second difference in C1 men, which is massive for C1 men, and in the C1 women you tend to see a little bit more than that. So yeah, we could see a really big spread here.
Well, this is a useful run coming together for Margot Henry of France. Then she has picked up a 2-second penalty on gate 13, but she really looks like she's found a rhythm on this final run.
Yeah, so far so good. It looks like she's just putting the boat in the right place, you know, and just trying to do a good job. That have reflected from their semi-final performances, that have watched the other girls, and they'll know what the best options are and the safest options, and that have made plans with their coaches that reflect that.
So this is the critical bit, though. You were saying how it's all about sort of working with the water, using the water. When the fatigue sets in, boat placement and stroke placement so vital. And you can just see she seems to have lost her rhythm, and particularly there a spin out before gate 22.
Yeah, she just started to stall a little bit, and then once that happens, you don't have the run on the boat. You sometimes need that bit of speed to be able to take control.
Great line through 23 and 24.
She flew through there.
And coming to finish sets the time for everybody to chase, and that is 1:37. That includes 6 seconds in penalties. So probably that is very much, she's left the door wide open, but a good start. But looking now at our next competitors, it is from Spain, Clara Olazabal, coming into the upstream gate 3. Looked like she had a...
Yeah, looks like a 2-second penalty on gate 1 there, so it'll be interesting to see how she can refocus from that, put it behind her, and try and complete the rest of the run to the best of her ability.
So now, you can't really win the race on the top section, but the important thing is to find your rhythm, find the groove, so that when you get into the difficult section, you're really feeling confident and in control of the water. Would that be a fair comment, Adam?
Yeah, I'd say so. Well, I like to see it, I like to try and get to the bridge without really using as little energy as possible. So I've got a lot of fuel left in the tank for the bottom.
Well, a little bit low on 12 and drops out of the eddy and through gate 14. That's significant because there's no way back from there.
Yeah, that will incur 2 50-second penalties there, and you can see they've just gone on now.
So unfortunately for Clara Olazabal of Spain, 100 seconds of penalties on her time, and that does mean that she won't challenge for the podium this afternoon in this, the first final of the ICF World Cup in 2016 here in Ivrea in northern Italy. And Clara Olazabal put that mistake behind her. She's actually finding the lines on the bottom section and really paddling respectably down into the final upstream.
Yeah, she's finishing her run off really well, which is good to see. You know, it's never nice when you see someone give up and just float to the finish, so she's doing a good job here.
So Clara Olazabal of Spain goes through into second place. So it is still Margot Henry of France leading the way in the early stages of this, the C1 women's final. And just see, here we are, a run into 12, rejected on the eddy line and just washed away out of the eddy. And here, this is the critical bit, she goes through the gate line of 14, so even if she did go back, she's picked up 2 50-second penalties on gates 12 and 13. So next up, third off in this, the women's C1 final, it is Simona Glejčíková of Slovakia coming through gate 1, and another penalty early on in the course. And Adam, you know, you're a top athlete, you're the under-23 ICF world champion. How easy is it to refocus and put it behind you?
The more races you've been to and that's happened to you and you've actually recovered and done well, and the more times you've seen it happen, the easier it becomes, you know. I've seen a lot of runs where people have hit the first gate and then gone on to win the race. You can definitely put it behind you, and once you know that and you learn that and you fully believe in that, then I think yourself you can start to refocus really quick, and you've just got to think about what is the next key point you've got to do there.
Yeah, and I think there's a famous one, I'm probably showing my age now, 1989 World Championships in Savage in the US, Richard Fox of Great Britain hitting gate 1, 5-second penalties in those days, kept it composed and still won the world title. So here we have probably more problems for our competitor Simona Glejčíková of Slovakia. 6 seconds of penalties showing and a paddle back round for gate 14. The critical bit here will be, can she keep it composed? Can she find another rhythm? Maybe too tight there.
Which so far for the C1 women, then she could find herself in the top half at least of this final, I think, if she can continue.
Well, 1:37.35 is our current race lead time. That's from Margot Henry of France. So very capable of still getting inside that, but more problems on the bottom section and a bit of work to do to get in tight into 22.
You know, we've already pointed out the 23-24 move as a bit of a sting in the tail, but actually getting to that upstream 22 is also fairly difficult. If you're not really on it, away from that spin, you've really got to keep your wits about you to not hit that wall, to be able to get it safely into the up left.
Well, into second place for Simona Glejčíková of Slovakia, but Margot Henry still holding on to that race lead, 1:37.35. And the next competitor to start on the course is the first of 4 Great Britain paddlers.
Yeah.
So you must know intimately how her paddling and her style of paddling. And of course, Jasmine was a World Championship finalist in 2014.
Yeah, she was, and I think she's been on the podium before at World Cups. Yeah, I'd say Jazz, what strikes me the most when I watch Jazz is how good she is at switching. You know, she switches to paddle really fast, which is something you see a lot. And oh, she's dropped out of the eddy there at gate 9. It looks like she's going to sprint back up.
She's rescued it, but that's going to take a huge amount of energy to get back. She actually had a 2.38 second advantage as she went through gate 8, but all that has gone and more now. It's great to see her recover it for gate 9, and we'll get an indication of just how much time she's lost, but it's not just the time loss, it's the energy that's taken to get there.
Yeah, definitely. She's fatigued now going into this bottom section, so she's going to really have to be on it now, put the boat in the right place to make sure she doesn't have any more time losses.
Well, nicely into the upstream gate 12. How will she do through 13? Well, she takes the touch. Can she get back across for 14? She's certainly very late. And yes, she has to go round the back. So unfortunately for Jasmine Royal, the problems just compounding a little bit. And almost certainly the physical fatigue from that extra paddle back will be taking its toll now.
Definitely, yeah. We said it in the C1 men, once you start to make mistakes, the run can really unravel. So yeah, it's there. Another touch is picked up there. It's good to see her working hard, finishing the run off, and if she can get down without a 50 now, then I think that would be a good way to finish it off.
Well, yes, she's absolutely still committing fully to the run. Nice
that was
spin
really good
through 19, and Jasmine Royal. Remember, it's not all over. So who knows what else can happen in this final? You've just got to concentrate on doing the best you can. And that's exactly what Jasmine is doing. She's outside of the lead time from Margot Henry of France, who will still hold on to the lead after 4 boats down in this 10-boat final. So Jasmine Royal into second place, 154.41 total. And it is still Margot Henry of France leading the way, ahead of Jasmine Royal of Great Britain and Simona Gletichova of Slovakia in 3rd place. But no sooner as one Great Britain athlete is down, but another one is at the top of the course, and it is Mallory Franklin of Great Britain, double silver medalist at senior world championship level, won multiple World Cups, and 5.29 seconds to the good on the top section alone.
Really good start for Mallory Franklin here. You know, she's consistently winning medals. She'll be out for the win today, looking to fight off competition such as Kimberly Woods from Great Britain as well, and Jessica Fox.
Well, great recovery there. That was a quick move through 12, 13 and 14, and didn't give away any time through that little reactive stroke on 14, and 9.58 seconds to the good. She knows she's got to move the bar if she is going to fight off that challenge, as you say, from those still to come in this ICF World Cup final. So Mallory Franklin very tidy through 19, but she needs not to hang around if she wants to stay on the top spot of the podium.
Yeah, and it looks like she's just taken gate 20 there a little bit too tight and picked up a 2-second penalty. She's got to keep it focused now if she wants to keep it clean for the rest of this run. Put the boat in the right position here. That looks solid.
Very nice line through 23 and 24. Now she's just got to dig into the reserves to get across to the finish line. And look at that time, 1:14.17. It includes a 2-second penalty, and that is actually the fastest raw time we've had on the course across the semi-finals as well. So new race lead, Mallory Franklin of Great Britain, and she takes the lead by 23 seconds. And that gets us to the halfway point of this, the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup. It's the C1 Women's final here in Ivrea in Italy. Race 1, and we're into the second half of the final. And of course, these were the fastest 5 athletes in the semi-finals. So our next competitor is Monika Jankova of the Czech Republic. And again, the Czech Republic, very respected in this category of C1 women. Katarina Hoshkova, not here. She's a former world champion. She's not here this weekend, but well, a little bit of a rescue required on gate 4. Monika Jankova just looks like she just almost came out a little bit tight out of the upstream 3, lost her balance.
Yeah, you've got to get out tight there, but it looked like she overdid it a little bit, and the water next to that wall is quite boily, and you know, your paddle can slip in your hand a little bit, and you do have to be a little bit careful.
So she's lost a bit of time compared to the current race leader, Mallory Franklin of Great Britain, 3.5 seconds, but the real delivery time is coming up. Once you go under the bridge towards gate 11, this is the business end of the course.
Yeah, definitely. She's not lost the race yet. She can definitely make up some time on this bottom section.
Well, she switched very late going into 12, and she's late. She's pointing the wrong way for 14. She's going to have to recirculate in the eddy. She does that nicely, but that is valuable time ticking away in this final event. So it's all about can she challenge that time. Mallory Franklin has certainly set the bar high for those still to come. That total 1:14 that is being chased is, well, it's the fastest raw time she set of all the competitors in the semi-final and the final so far.
Yeah, I think she's going to struggle to make up that time, but she could definitely get inside of second place and maybe sneak onto the podium once all the athletes have been down, if she can hold it together now at the last few gates.
Well, she looks like she had rediscovered that rhythm, but another penalty showing on gate 21, a little bit low into 22. How easy is it, Adam, to find this real sweet spot through 23 and 24? Because when people find it, they find like a whole second or two.
Yeah, I think most of the athletes here could probably do it in their sleep. But you know, when the arms are tired, at the end you've got your eyes on the finish line, and it's a tricky exit from the up left as well. There's a lot of factors that contribute into making it not all that easy.
Okay, well, into second place for Monika Jankova of the Czech Republic. As we now look at our next starter, it's Ailey Gibson of Great Britain. So we're into the final 4 competitors in this, the C1 Women's Final here in Ivrea in Italy. It's the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup 1, the first ICF World Cup of the season. An opportunity for athletes to really get their season off to the start they wanted. Now, Ailey Gibson, she was 5th at the World Championships in 2015, 4th at the European Championships just a month ago, and chasing compatriot Mallory Franklin's time, that very fast time, and our current race leader. She's low again. Jasmine Royal had that same issue, but it looks like Ailey Gibson has rescued it.
Yeah, she's just about managed to sneak into the bottom of that eddy, and she's lost a bit of time, but you know, she's kept it clean, and she's definitely still in this race.
Yeah, she's been a medalist at World Cup level before, and very comfortable through into gate 12. But this next section, 13, 14, 15, is normally the defining moment of most people's runs.
Really good there, really good discipline to exit far enough out of gate 12, and she's set that up in 12-14. She's made it look really easy.
Well, 5 seconds is the deficit. It sounds like a lot, but don't forget that Mallory Franklin from Great Britain, the current race leader, is I think almost 19 seconds clear of second place. So Ailey Gibson needs to keep it clean, she needs to keep it tidy, but she's very much in the hunt to take into second place with 3 to go after her.
I think if she keeps it clean, she could even challenge the lead here. Mallory picked up a touch on the bottom section, and she's missed the gate 21, and she's having to go back for it. This is going to be another big time loss for Ailey.
She's also got to get her bows back round, ready for the upstream gate 22, so a little bit low there, and the time ticking away. She's outside of the current leader's time, Mallory Franklin of Great Britain, and now it's so important. She's got the line wrong in 23, and it's all gone wrong at the bottom section of the course for Ailey Gibson of Great Britain. Time ticking away as she goes back to maintain her lead so far. Margot Henry of France, second. She stays in that position. And also Jasmine Royal of Great Britain remains in third place with Ailey Gibson of Great Britain in fourth. But now we have the world champion, the World Cup winner from 2015. Wearing bib number 1, it is Jessica Fox of Australia. Now, she only qualified through into this final in third place. There's a bit of pride at stake, I think, in this final.
Yeah, definitely. I think she knows the British girls are chasing her, and you know, she had a big time loss, I think, on that semi-final run, so she'll be looking to correct that mistake and challenge Mallory Franklin here today, and Kimberly Woods, who's still yet to go.
Well, she picked up a 2-second penalty on the downstream gate 5. 3.5 second deficit on the race leader, but Jessica Fox, this is where she comes into her own. Her technical ability around here is what really stands her out as the world number 1. Comes through gate 13, but late 13, she tries, perhaps was she a bit greedy on the way into 13 and pays the price?
I think so. We saw Ailey really exit gate 12, like to the left-hand side of the river, and just there, she just cut the line a little bit too much, and you pay for it because you don't get the boat pointing down again before you hit that wave, and that wave's powerful. It'll stop you in your tracks.
Well, let's not forget though, she's still in contention. She might have 4 seconds of penalties, but 5.3 seconds is the deficit on race leader. Jess Fox could still be a contender in this race for the top spot, but if not, she's certainly a contender for the podium positions.
She still looks strong here at the end of the course as well, like physically really good, and she set that up well.
Well, she gets a very tight exit from the final upstream gate 22. Looks like a good line through 23 and 24. She's going to be close to the race lead, and she is the race leader.
Wow.
What a recovery on that bottom section. And Jessica Fox of Australia takes the race lead here ahead of Mallory Franklin of Great Britain. Margot Henry holding on to third place. But wow, your reflections there, Adam. Jessica Fox on that bottom section, despite a few mistakes, she has absolutely delivered.
Yeah, she, you know, like even though she's still quite young, she's got a lot of experience racing, and she'll know that if she finishes the run strong, she can still put herself in contention. I think she looked a little surprised herself to be leading, but yeah, she delivered that bottom spin really good last upstream, and then kept it to the finish, delivered those last 2 gates as well. Let's see if it holds on.
So 2 boats still to go in the ICF World Cup. It's the first race of the season in Ivrea, and Claire Jacquet of France is our next representative.
Pretty stylish there into gate 3, choosing the wide line, and that looked quite cool.
Yes, does that reduce the risk of taking the bow touch on the outside pole?
Yeah, I think so. It means she'll come in with more pre-turn, but then technically it's more difficult to balance as well, so but obviously she thinks that it was a good option.
Well, look at that. She had a 3.9 second advantage going through gate 8. Then she touched gate 8, but still pretty much a 2 second advantage as she goes into this middle section. So Claire Jacquet of France looking very confident, very composed, but that's a tight line out of 12.
Yeah, it looked like she just hesitated for a fraction of a second there in gate 12, and didn't quite get the boat up to speed to really push out against that flow.
So she will have lost some time there. No penalties added, and it will help her on 14, although it doesn't look like she's got the line quite to take advantage of it. And Claire Jacquet now playing catch up, so she goes from a 2 second advantage to nearly a 6 second deficit. But we saw from Jessica Fox that it's still in the game.
Definitely, Jess made up a lot of time at the bottom, but saying that, I think it's where Jess made up a lot of her time, so it's going to be incredibly difficult to go faster than Jess now on the bottom, but maybe she can challenge for a place on the podium still.
I think you're right. I think she can challenge the podium, but yeah, Jessica Fox was so good on the bottom section that making up that deficit at this stage. So 1:13.92 is the time to beat. Well, Claire Jacquet of France is already outside of that time as she approaches the finish, but she will go into third place for Claire Jacquet, and I'm just waiting for the scoreboard to update, but I think at this stage it is still Jessica Fox leading ahead of Mallory Franklin of Great Britain, and then into third place Claire Jacquet with 1 boat to go. and it is Kimberly Woods of Great Britain. Final boat in this 10-boat ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup final, and the European champion of 2015 is on course. She was fourth at the 2015 World Championships and put in that stunning performance in the semi-finals, but she must know now that she's actually got to go faster than she did in the semi-finals if she's going to take the honours here today.
Yeah, she'd have heard that on the commentary, but you know, she's a really, really talented athlete. She can paddle in C1, she can paddle in kayak. I'm pretty sure you could put her in a bathtub and she'd paddle that well as well. She can paddle anything, and she's up on the top split here and looking really in control and composed.
Well, yeah, two and a half seconds to the good, but a touch there. It looked like she almost went downstream through the gate.
Yeah,
but,
she did well to throw her body back and make sure she didn't go through it the wrong way.
I have to say, very good through 13 and 14 and 15. So although she's picked up a penalty, I suspect that'll be a fast time. That is fast. 5.1 to the good. This race surely is Kimberly Woods' race to lose.
Definitely, yeah. She's just got to do a good job now, put the boat in the right place. You know, she can take the safest options, and as long as there's no disasters now, then she'll take the race win today.
Well, she can't snooze here because we know Jessica Fox was so strong on the bottom section that Kimberly Woods needs to be strong.
Oh, it looks like a bit of a confusion there whether to switch or not.
Yeah, so she's low into the upstream gate 22, but she's keeping the boat moving. Two gates stand between her and an ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup victory, and a good line through 23. A little bit into the eddy, having to work hard. It's going to be very close on the line, and she drops that time. And into third place for Kimberly Woods. So the provisional results here at the World Cup final, C1 women. Jessica Fox takes the gold medal for Australia, with Mallory Franklin in silver for Great Britain and Kimberly Woods for Great Britain in bronze. Just what happened there? She had a 5-second advantage at gate 16, and we know that Jessica Fox was so strong on the bottom section, but it slipped away.
Yeah, there was a lot of time to play with there, and it looked like she's got a little bit confused whether she was going to switch her hands or not. You know, it would be of an advantage to be on the left-hand side to do the last upstream, and it looked like she just hesitated. I wonder if she had her eyes on the finish already, like she knew she was fast, I imagine. She's got a medal and 2 Brits on the podium there. That's really good.
Yeah, so good news for your team there, Adam there. Yeah, Great Britain silver and bronze, but the honours go to Australia's Jessica Fox, the 2015 ICF World Cup champion, and of course world champion. Pretty much Jessica already has won everything that there is to win in the sport, and still very young, but her focus this year will be in the kayak more in the Olympic Games, and we'll see Jessica in action again tomorrow here at Planet Canoe. You can follow that live, the K1 Women and C2. That starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. But we're not done yet, because we still have the K1 men's final to come here this afternoon. That gets underway in just a few minutes. But also, if you're interested in watching the slalom cross, then that will be taking place later on today. We'll be streaming that live here at Planet Canoe, so you can follow the slalom cross, men's and women's kayak, and certainly that start off the bridge by gate 11. I'm certainly looking forward to all the action that will bring. So that'll be at 17:45 Central European time. But don't go away, because we have the K1 men's final. It's the first ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup final of the 2016 season. An opportunity for people to kickstart their major season campaign. It's Adam Burgess, the ICF Under-23 World Champion, and just some reflections there on the C1 women's race.
Yeah, you know, in the end, they've only been split by a second on the podium from first to third, which is really amazing. So actually incredibly tight racing in the end. But I think time changed hands. Together, but it does just show how difficult this course is today.
Yes, and I was talking with Ben Hayward earlier on today about the how popular this course is. It's sort of a natural river, but it's been made a little bit artificial. But what's your view of it? What makes it so special?
Yeah, so it's not like it has been man-made to some extent, but it's got that natural feel. You know, it's like they use real rocks, and the setting is really beautiful as well. You know, the mountains and the town of Ivrea behind us. But I think it's just nice for us to paddle on a more natural feeling river again. After a lot of the places we paddle these days are concrete and plastic, it's quite refreshing to be back kind of where canoe slalom would have started.
Yes, and I would probably describe it as a bit of a neutral venue in the sense that a lot of the competitors here have not spent that much time on it, so everyone comes in fairly equal terms in terms of preparation.
Yeah, and that's always quite exciting because you do see with some of the courses a bit of a home advantage. You know, the Czechs very dominant on Prague and the Germans very dominant on Augsburg. So it's nice to come somewhere like this and a different venue on the World Cup circuit for us as well. And I hope there's going to be more races here in the future because it is a lot of fun to paddle.
Well, I believe we will be back here. I can't remember the detail, but yes, I believe this is Ivrea is on the plans for further ICF races. But let's turn our attention now. The final of the K1 men. This is the last of the finals today. Obviously with the K1 women and the C2 in action tomorrow. 10 boats will go off. They go in reverse order of the semi-finals. So 40 boats set off in the semi-finals this morning, and we whittled it down. We lost Sebastian Schubert of Germany and Vavra Hradilek of the Czech Republic. Two big names didn't progress through to the final, but equally we have some big names here, and 9 nations represented in this here in Italy. The crowd will go wild.
Yeah, they were on the bubble for a little while, and you know, the bit of drama at the end made that there were 2 Italians in, and I'm sure the crowd's going to be very excited to see these 2 guys battling it out today.
So we're straight into the action and straight in with the first 2. It's 2016. It is Giovanni Di Gennaro, and looking to really optimize his performance. Now we know he's capable of delivery when it counts, and as an indicator, 87.58 was the fastest run time delivered in the semi-finals. So Giovanni De Gennaro has the opportunity to put the pressure on those still to come, but it is all about delivering now. Well, that is tight on gate 12.
It looks like he started off very well. You know, he's pinned all these upstreams so far. He's taken a little bit of a hit on the wave there on the way to 14, but this is a good run that's starting to come together here for Giovanni.
So Giovanni is the poster boy of this ICF World Cup, plastered all over the city of Ivrea, and this is opportunity to really deliver, and he certainly looks like he's rising to the occasion.
Yeah, really good again in 18. His upstreams have been really fast today. It looks like he's picked up a 2-second penalty on gate 19 now, Andy.
I think his bowels just bobbed up on the spin, took a tiny touch. Doesn't matter how hard you hit the pole, it's still 2 seconds in penalties. But this is a good time from Giovanni Di Gennaro of Italy that everybody else has to chase. 90.13, that includes a 2-second penalty, and already the pressure is on those still to come. Acknowledging the home support, certainly the crowd here really has swelled ahead of this final. But they're man who's up next. He is the Olympic champion from London 2012, a real showboater, really real popular character on the canoe slalom circuit. It is Daniele Molmenti, and he was talking to us earlier about just how special it was to be competing on his home soil. Of course, we haven't hosted any World Cup or Championship races at ICF level in Italy for 12 years, so it's really good. He really is really blossoming from it coming back to his home soil.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy, he loves to play for a crowd, and I think he's really going to enjoy this one.
Well, here we go. This is Molmenti's chance to shine. It was almost missed out on this final, and it looks like he is going to take advantage of it. he certainly set off very well indeed. Gate 3 looked very good.
Yeah, he really strong guy, and I think you'll see him trying to gain some time on the flat water here where he can sprint and maybe take some time out of the other kayaks.
Well, their Olympic selection was held, one of the races was held on this course, and he has an early advantage over compatriot De Gennaro, who actually snatched the Olympic place off him, so he won't be able to defend his Olympic title in Rio, and maybe getting on a podium here will be good consolation. This is looking like a very strong run, Adam.
Kept his boat speed really well through 13, 14, 15, and he's gate 16 with his bow on the way in. It's tricky there coming down the drop, you know, the bow likes to pop up, and you've got to be really controlled to like feed it under or slot it just around.
Well, very good on 18, and certainly not affected by that mistake. Daniel Momenti, he's won the Olympic title, he's won the world title, he's won the European title.
And the World Cup title.
And the World Cup title. He's won everything, but he would love to win a World Cup at home, and this is his opportunity. Well, he's got the good line at the finish. Is it going to be enough? He's going to surely sneak in. No, into second place. 91.24, and Daniele Momenti is in second place. Let's put this into context. There's still good performances from the two Italians, but it's fair to say, Adam, they've left the door ajar for others to come inside.
Definitely, yeah, respectable times there, 90 and 91, but you know, we've seen earlier the 87, or was it? So there's definitely a bit of time there, but yeah, really good runs, and I think that's just set the precedent for how this final's going to go. I think we're going to see quality run after quality run, but
so
penalties potentially costly for these two, and it might go down to who can keep it clean.
Well, there we go. Daniele Momenti, the Olympic champion from London 2012, really popular character on the circuit. 90.13 is the time to chase. That time by Giovanni De Gennaro of Italy. So we still have 8 boats to go in this 10-boat ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup final. Next up, from Great Britain, Bradley Forbes-Cryans, BFC. Tell us a little bit about Bradley.
Yeah, he's my training partner, so I know Bradley really well. He's a strong guy. He can bench press 120 kilos, and I think we're going to see that power now on the flat water on this sprint here. He's going to be really enjoying this one. It's his first final at ICF World Cup level, so yeah, he's going to go out there and leave it all out on the water and see where he can end up. But I think he can challenge for a medal if he can hold it together, and he's up on the first split.
Well, that's a good start for Bradley. I'm sure there's a lot of people watching, supporting Bradley as he comes through gate 11, just composing himself as he drops into the upstream 12, wraps it round. Now he's got to deliver 13. He is very tight through 13 to 14. Looking good as he comes towards the second split.
Yeah, he looks so in control. I absolutely love the pace change there was just above the drop. You know, it's a tricky move, that upright in the next 3 downs, and he just composed himself to set it up and deliver a good job, and he's still clean, and this is a really good run coming together now.
Well, I think he may just have clipped the exit of gate 18, but Bradley Forbes-Cryans of Great Britain certainly putting in a strong performance. He was 18th at the World Championships last year on his debut, and certainly gave a big challenge to the Olympic selection. In the end, that went to Joe Clark from Great Britain. But Bradley Forbes-Cryans now coming towards the finish line, 92.35, a very respectable performance, and so far no one has managed to go clean.
Yeah, I think that just shows how tight these kayaks are trying to cut the lines, and how hard they're racing. It is really hard to keep clean when you're racing at this intensity, and yeah, again there we've seen another touch, but and you see just how tight he's cutting the lines with that slow-mo on gate 3.
Well, it is the World Cup final. It's where you have to leave everything on the river. Don't get to the finish with anything left in the tank. It's all wasted. Would you agree with that, Adam?
Yeah, definitely. The worst thing would be to finish and think that maybe you could have tried a bit harder or taken on a move that maybe you decided to take a safe option on. So he should definitely be proud that he's really left it all out there today.
So 7 boats to go in the 10-boat final, and of course they're the fastest 7 boats from this morning's semi-finals. Next up, Ondrej Tunka of the Czech Republic. He had a great performance in the ICF World Cup in 2015, finished 3rd overall in the standings, and wow, he certainly wraps himself around gate 3. Maybe the judges will be looking at that, but what do you think? Do you think that was actually fast, or did he stall out a little bit?
I think the entry was very fast. Maybe he didn't carry away the speed that someone with a more regular upstream, and maybe that's reflected there a little bit in that split. He's just a little bit down, but he really took on the risky option.
Oh, well, he's been given a touch look on a 50-second penalty. So we did say it's hard to see from the commentary box that, but the judges have clearly given him a 50-second penalty. The Czech team have the opportunity to challenge that, but Ondřej Tunka comes into the upstream gate 16 and, well, take off the 50-second penalty, and he's still in touch.
Definitely, yeah, he's still in touch here if he can keep it clean, and maybe he'll get his team leaders to have a look at the video and see if it's worth challenging that 50-second penalty. But I think the judge is right on top of it there, so they've had a much better view than we'll have had on this video.
Yes, and he's just compounded his problems with a 2-second penalty on gate 19 and too tight in the upstream gate 22. It's interesting, in the C1 men we saw people going too tight into 22. In the C1 women we saw them struggling to get in tight. Original calls that had to be made by the judges.
Definitely, yeah, definitely catching a few people out there.
So Ondřej Tunka, unfortunately, it all ended on gate 3, but I'm sure we will see him back. Remember, this is a 5-race ICF World Cup series. This is only race 1. Here it is. This is where he got the penalty. It's very hard to call when you can't actually see the gate line, but he's certainly left it to the judges to make the decision.
Definitely has. Definitely has. But he's a consistent guy, and I'm sure we'll see him in finals again throughout the year, and he'll be challenging for the overall World Cup.
So, with 4 boats down, it is Italy 1 and 2. Giovanni De Gennaro leading the way for Italy ahead of Daniele Momenti. There they are, the 2 local boys, loving it as ever. And Bradley Forbes-Grimes of Great Britain in 3rd place. But we still have some top boats to go. Talking Etienne Dye, he was the name to talk about in 2012. He blasted through the ICF World Cup Series and was the form boat. Went into the games almost as favourite, and it didn't happen for him.
Yeah, he had such a good year in 2012. You know, I think he medalled at all 5 World Cups. I think 3 of them gold. And I think he's struggled a little bit with injuries since then, hence not really making the French team and being able to get himself at these races. But I think it'd be really good to see him try and find that form again and challenge for the titles again.
Well, he's certainly taken the opportunity. He's in the final here, but he has picked up a 2-second penalty on gate 10. But as he comes into gate 16, it's too tight. Ooh. So 3.85 was already the deficit, and that will have grown as a result of that. So Etienne Dye of France looks like he's not going to challenge the podium here. And De Gennaro of Italy looking strong as we get to the halfway point in this K1 ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup final.
I think a bit more time slipping away from there on the tight man classes are just so small. You've got to be taking on the gates really tight if you want to be competitive, and sometimes that happens. You go too early, and yeah, he's out above, and it's a huge time loss, and he's out of the running now.
So into 4th place for Etienne Dye of France. So the top 3 remain unchanged. It's De Gennaro of Italy lying in 1st place, ahead of Momenti of Italy. Italy 1-2 in Italy. And then Bradley Forbes-Grimes of Great Britain in his 1st final is still sitting in 3rd place. So Etienne Dye, he'll be disappointed with that, but he's taken the opportunity. He's really struggled to get these big race opportunities, such as the level of competition in the French team. And he's in the final. There's Bradley Forbes-Grimes. They're waiting to see what others do, but we're now at the halfway point. 5 to go in the final. Next up, Thomas Bersinger of Argentina, a regular finalist at World Championship level, and What can he do? Well, he wraps himself safely round gate 3. He certainly gets the tight exit there, Adam.
Yeah, he was good there, really controlled, having to lean off the pole a little bit, but he's kept his boat speed well.
Well, we'll get an indication of how he stacks up. You don't have to be the fastest on this top section, you just have to be in touch, and that's just what is required. 0.32 down, but now it's all about delivery in this technical section.
It's a pretty good start for him here, and now we're getting to the difficult stuff where we've seen chunks of time being gained and lost here, so let's see if he can be one of the winners of that.
He's looking so composed and so smooth on the water.
Yeah, really smooth. I believe he spends quite a lot of his time in France, and a lot of those guys have that really smooth style and good connection with the water, and I think that's what we're seeing here today, maybe that influence.
Well, it's 1.39 seconds down, so he's got to do some work on the bottom section, but importantly, he's clean, and he's really looks like he's got a rhythm on the white water. Has he got the arms to stick it out on these final 3 gates?
I think this could really challenge for the race lead here if he can hold this together. Clean run.
Well, he's got
might see a new leader.
Pretty sweet line through gate 24, but a 2-second penalty on the last gate and into 4th place. So De Gennaro of Italy, you could see, gets to breathe again. He holds on to the lead. The top 3 remain unchanged, and Bersinger of Argentina goes into 4th place. So excitement here in Ivrea. The weather may not be that hot, but the atmosphere, the tension here on the riverbank is electric and certainly heating up as we go into the final 4 competitors in this K1 men's final.
Yeah, 2 Italians sat at the top at the moment. The crowd are going to be enjoying that. They get to enjoy 4 more awesome athletes come down here, but I think in the back of their minds they're going to be hoping for an Italian medal.
Well, the Italians have gone very quiet at the moment because, yeah, we've still got 4 very quick boats to go. And the first one of those up, Matteo Dobi of Belgium. Matteo won his first senior medal in the World Cup series in the World Cup final in Po last year. And so I guess the last World Cup he was on the podium. Can he do it again today here in Ivrea? Very quick indeed. He was a London 2012 Olympian. Belgium haven't qualified an Olympic spot for the Rio 2016 games, but he's in touch at that early split.
Yeah, he missed out on that Olympic quota qualification a couple of weeks ago at the Europeans, and I think he'll be looking to really put that behind him now and try and take on this World Cup series. And if he can't have the Olympic Games, then maybe the World Cup is a very good consolation.
Well, he's looking very good as he comes into the upstream gate 16. 1.18 seconds the deficit. Well, that's very achievable, but it's all going to be about pinning the lines and keeping that smooth style, working with the water on the final 6 or 7 gates of the course.
Yeah, if he keeps this clean, this could definitely challenge the top 2 Italians.
Well, into the upstream 22. He gives it space. We've seen a lot of people going very tight in on there.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a little bit too much space and he left it a bit safe almost.
Well,
we'll see now.
It's going to be tight. I don't think he's going to have done enough to make it into the lead. He hasn't, but he does take 3rd place. So we have a change to the leaderboard. He knocks Bradley Forbes-Cryans of Great Britain down to 4th place. But it is still Giovanni De Gennaro of Italy leading the way, ahead of Daniele Momenti of Italy. And as we see, it is Matteo Dobi of Belgium who goes into 3rd place with 3 boats to go. They're the 3 fastest boats from the semi-finals. And interestingly enough, so 90.13 is the fastest time at the moment. But the time did go to 87.58 in the semi-finals. We don't always see it go quicker in the finals. I think there's an added pressure dimension to that. But Martin Halsen definitely one to watch, and he's still to come. So next up, Samuel Hernandez of Spain. Very strong performer, former European Championship medalist at senior level. Had a disappointing 2015 campaign, and I think we all remember his paddle snapped at the World Championships, and not only did that damage his World Championship Rio Olympic Games.
Fortunate accident that for him that his paddle snapped there at the Worlds, because it meant he lost his quota spot, and then 2 weeks ago at the Europeans, Spain failed to qualify at it again. So and you really would expect him to be there at the Olympic Games challenging for the top. So I'm sure he's going to really want to put that behind him and try and take the overall World Cup instead.
Well, this looks like a good run coming together. He was 7/100ths of a second down on our current race leader. He's really looking like he's got a good flow, but he's down by 1.39. De Gennaro was obviously good on the bottom section, because no one's really managed to challenge that bottom section. Samuel Hernandez will be in action next weekend on his home course when the ICF World Cup moves to La Seu d'Urgell in the Spanish Pyrenees, and he'll be looking to sort of get some momentum to his season. Getting on the podium would be a great build towards that, and very good on 22, Adam.
Yeah, really fast there, and he's got out tight. It looks like he's just got hung back a little bit on the stopper there, but good there, good line through 23, 24.
Well, it's going to be tight. 91.64, and the Italian crowd breathe again. The Italians stay first and second. Samuel Hernandez goes into third place. You can see he gave it all on that run. There's nothing left. And Matteo Dobi of Belgium pushed down to fourth place. So it's Italy 1 and 2 in Italy, with 2 boats still to go in this final. So what that does mean is the Italians have got a medal.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're going to be very excited about that. Giovanni certainly looks happy, and that'll be a great result for him going into his first Olympic Games. Now this man is one I'm very excited to see. He absolutely blitzed through the top section this morning. He's a really well conditioned athlete, like the rest of the Polish team, and he's really strong, and let's see if he attacks this run in the same way he did earlier.
So Dariusz Popiela of Poland going in this, the ICF World Cup K1 men's final. 2 boats to go. Dariusz Popiela has the opportunity to spoil the Italian party here in Ivrea. Well, looked like a good exit from gate 3. This is, as you say, Adam, where he was so strong on the semi-finals earlier on today. It's important that he repeats that, but also finds his rhythm going into the middle section. Yeah,
you can see him spinning his arms there on the top, and he's found a little tiny bit of an advantage there on the top, so he's definitely in touch with the Italian De Gennaro here going into the bottom section. He's got to hold it all together now and put the boat in the right place and stay off the poles.
Well, he's good through, he's taking a very direct line through 12 and 13, and it looks like he's pulled it off.
Just about wiggled his way through there.
And he's actually in touch. That's the closest anyone has been to De Gennaro's time. Just 0.11 of a second separating them. So it's all about who can deliver the bottom section. Well, if I remember rightly, he was really good on gate 18 on his semi-final. He managed to pin that, and he hasn't quite delivered it in quite the same way.
Not quite, but I think he's kind of just struggled his way through it again, and he might have got away with it. And the really conditioned athlete he is, I think he'll have the arms on him to finish strong as well, although a little bit more time there lost in the last upstream.
So coming through gate 23 and 24, has to drag it round a little bit, but he's going to be outside of De Gennaro's time and into third place. So again, the Italian crowd applauding. I think that's more to do with the fact that they've now got 2 people who will be on the podium. And Giovanni De Gennaro stays at the top of the leaderboard ahead of Daniele Momenti of Italy. And as we see, Dariusz Popiela of Poland going into third place. A very credible performance for Dariusz, particularly after disappointing World Championships and European Championships. Outside the finals there.
Yeah, definitely. And a strong performance today. He's put himself in a really good position going into the rest of the World Cup series as well.
It's so important to get some momentum. Would you agree with that at the start of the season, going into a big season?
Yeah, definitely. And for a lot of athletes, our funding is often down to our results. And if you get a good result early on in the season, you tend to feel a bit more secure, and it's reassuring then going into the rest of the season, and you can race with a bit less fear.
Well, we're into the final competitor, the fastest competitor from the semi-final. It's Martin Halsin of Slovakia, but already he's on his back foot. He is going to have to go at least as quick on his final run here as he did in the semi-final if he's going to spoil the Italian party. So looks like, is he just trying that little bit too hard?
Yeah, I wonder if he's just chasing it a bit now after the early mistake. He's 2.5 seconds down, so a lot of that's obviously a reflection of the penalty he's picked up. But yeah, he did an 87 earlier, so there is time. He has got that time in him if he really nails his bottom section, but he's got to focus and he's got to get this run back under control. And it looks like that's a big time loss there between 30 and another 2-second penalty.
I think the Italian party starting. The Italian crowd are going wild here in Ivrea. It looks like an Italian 1-2 because 6 seconds of penalties now showing on Martin Halsen's time. It doesn't really matter what he does on the bottom section. Wow, he's taken on gate 19 to 20. It's damage limitation. Is that enough? I don't think so, Adam.
Yeah, I think he knows the run's over, and one for the fans there, I think, going forwards on 19.
Yeah, it's all just caught up with him. 10 seconds in penalties, and the Italian crowd applauding a 1-2 here in Ivrea. Well, congratulations, Martin Halsen goes into 9th place. So provisionally, it's Italy, gold and silver. Giovanni De Gennaro takes the honour. It's a home 1-2 ahead of Daniele Momenti, the Olympic champion from London 2012. And Dariusz Popiela of Poland takes the bronze medal. Samuel Hernandez in 4th, Mathieu Doby in 5th, and Great Britain's Bradley Forbes-Cryans a personal best in 6th place. So exciting race in there. Penalties really proving a factor in that. And Adam, it'd be interesting to hear your reflections. When Giovanni went down, he was the first off, and he picked up a penalty. We knew it was quick. I'm not sure I really thought he would stand the test of time.
No, not after seeing an 87 this morning. You know, that 2-second penalty there, like the 88, I think you say, yeah, that could be really competitive. But with the 2-second penalty on it, it did look like someone might have gone faster. But, you know, the rest of the kayaks, they had to go fast to beat that. They had to cut the lines. They had to stay clean, and no one managed it. So he did the job, and it's good.
Well, that was exciting racing here at the first of the ICF World Cup finals. But that's only day one complete. We do have the slalom cross to come later on. I'll give you more information about that in a minute, but here is the classification. Giovanni De Gennaro of Italy takes the gold and 60 points. Daniele Momenti of Italy takes 55 points and the silver. Dariusz Popiela of Poland takes bronze. And Samuel Hernandez, strong performance there for Spain. Mathieu Doby, again, a top 5 performance to follow up from his medal at the World Cup final last year. 9 nations represented in the 10-boat final. So that concludes for today. Let me just give you a bit more information. The finals of the K1 women and the C2 men. They kick off at 10 o'clock Central European time tomorrow here at Planet Canoe. Don't miss them, they'll be live, and then of course live with the finals at 1 o'clock Central European time. So the Italian crowd was very much elated from that performance. So it was the Czech Republic that took the honours in the C1 men. It was Australia in the C1 women, and it was Italy with a 1-2 in the K1 men. So across the 3 finals, Adam, who was your top performer?
Oh, that's a good question. That's really hard to say, you know, because all of the finalists, no one managed to go faster than a semi-final run. But Giovanni there, I think, for me, De Gennaro in that kayak man final, you know, on his home course, the pressure behind him, and delivering it, and I think this is his first World Cup win as well, so really special day for him here.
Yeah, and what is that home pressure like? Because, I mean, you've just come off the back of, you were a World Championship finalist last year at your home World Championships, and some would say, yes, it's great being on your home venue, but there are added expectations that come with it.
Definitely. I think it depends how you look at it. I think you can either harness that energy or you can let it get to you, and it is a really enjoyable experience racing at home, and I hope we get more races back in Lee Valley. I'm sure the Italians have enjoyed this today, and they'll continue to enjoy it for the rest of the weekend racing.
Well, big crowd here. You can see we're right in the centre of the city at Ivrea, and